High fares, growing monetary worries could weigh on airline restoration. Doha pent-up call from the pandemic method. Consumers are weathering high airfares, but as summertime ends and inflation and interest rate rises begin to bite, there are developing questions over whether or not the urge for food for tour is sustainable. Global Airways at the moment are predicted to submit a $9.7 billion loss in 2022, a pointy improvement from a revised $42.1 billion loss in 2021, the International Air Transport Association (IATA) said on Monday, and to probably claw their way again to profit in 2023. But earnings stay nicely quick of pre-pandemic tiers as fairly indebted providers grapple with clean demanding situations from growing gas expenses and high wages payments that they are attempting to pass directly to consumers in the shape of better fares. We have a positive degree of insensitivity to costs this year, IATA chief economist Marie Owens-Thompson stated, bringing up excessive family savings rates at some stage in the pandemic and pent-up travel call for. That ought to fade into subsequent year. Industry leaders accumulating at IATA's annual meeting in Doha stated bookings normally looked very strong for the following few months, but there was less certainty past that. The demand is pent up. It is revenge travel, Malaysia Airlines chief executive Izam Ismail said. Airfares have long gone up surprisingly. It isn't always only in Malaysia or Malaysia Airlines, it's miles for the duration of the industry globally. If the rate is still excessive, the call for will taper off. IATA forecasts yields, a proxy for airfares, will upward thrust with the aid of 5.6% this 12 months globally. Air New Zealand chief executive Greg Foran stated fares at his airline were now running 20% to 25% above pre-COVID ranges, in element to cowl gas prices that have more than doubled. We are communicating to our customers and permitting them to recognize, what they may be seeing in price tag prices isn't Air New Zealand trying to recover cash that it misplaced during the last 800-plus days. It's about handling cost pressures that weave in the front folks today, he said. Consumers in many countries are actually going through higher expenses for normal items such as groceries and gas, which might be growing quicker than wages. To date, that has now not hit the appetite for travel, with many having saved up for the duration of the pandemic whilst many borders had been closed and vacations had been postponed. Hawaiian Airlines chief executive Peter Ingram said call from the U.S. mainland and Canada turned into particularly sturdy, with potential jogging around 15% above pre-pandemic stages. It's impossible no longer to be aware about the fact that we are seeing a number of inflation inside the United States. But as we look at the demand right now, we aren't actually seeing any results, he said. That's no longer to say we might not see some as the 12 months is going on. But right now, all of the call for indicators are very strong. IATA Director General Willie Walsh additionally performed down issues of a so-called demand cliff that might spell a short-lived restoration. I don't assume it is a flash within the pan, he said. I think there may be a few pent-up call for being fulfilled in the interim, however you have got to take into account we are nonetheless nicely beneath wherein we have been in 2019. So I think there is still a number of floor to make up earlier than we will get into the debate as to whether or not we'll see that taper off. But in India, where airlines are coming into a historically decreased journey duration in July to September at some stage in monsoon season, there are rising worries approximately the sustainability of call for given airfares have not completely blanketed the impact of rising gasoline fees, Vistara chief executive Vinod Kannan stated. We need to cross our fingers, pray and notice what happens, he said of the off-season. Fare will increase will let you to a certain extent. But in case your demand drops off, you are again to square one.